And once again, we are back. And it's time to welcome one of the guys who is a new player for this Trackmania Grand League season. He's from Switzerland. His name is Affi. Affi, sadly no webcamer for you either, but can you tell people how is life in Switzerland at the moment and how is Affi doing at the moment?
Life is good. We're having some pretty warm weather right now, so that's pretty cool. And just started my studies again this week, and everything is going right.
Can you tell us how is the studies then is it gonna impact the Trackmania Grand League performance, or how are you gonna deal with then
Well,
newly started studies and then Trackmania Grand League?
of course, I could have more time to practice if I didn't have studies or if I was in holidays, but I knew that this week was going to be a busy week for me, so I spent quite a lot of time practicing before during summer holidays. So it's not like I'm losing time on other players because I feel already pretty much ready.
But then you are one of these new players in the Trackmania Grand League, but you are used to the format. You have played 6 laps before, but can you tell us is it feeling different for you this season compared to last season when you went into the Open Grand League instead of the Trackmania Grand League?
Yeah, it actually feels a lot different because last season in OGL I had to do good 6 lappers, but after a few steps I just saw that with my pace I didn't have to push into the 6 lappers to make it into the top 8. So I could just drive normally and just chill. So I wasn't doing any mistakes, so I was still pretty fast. But now in TMGL, I could see during the show match that that those guys were really fast and that I needed to learn all the small tricks and everything to gain as much time as possible. So I pretty much changed my way of practicing, just trying to push as hard as possible while still being consistent. But yeah, now I see what pace I have. I think that if I could just pull out my good 6 lappers into the step, I could get, I could get not, I'm not going to say consistent, but I can be into the top 8 if I play good. So I'm relying on this.
Yeah, what goals do you have this season? It's the first season you're going to play up against the biggest of the biggest names in Trackmania. Do you have a goal, or is it going to be, I take it as it comes?
Well, I think getting into the playoffs is like the goal of everyone. So this is my goal as well. Trying to reach the playoffs, then it's just a bonus for me. And I know in case of I'm not making it into the playoffs, I'm not too much worried about the combine since it was working pretty good for me when I was in OGL. So we'll see what happens. But I at least even if I don't make it into the playoffs, I want to have like one good step where I could just score some good points. Just show that I have the level to to succeed in TMGL.
But can you tell us, this is the first time we will going to play Trackmania Grand League in a new game. How do you feel personally about this new game compared to your skill level in Trackmania 2 Stadium and where you eventually qualified into Trackmania Grand League?
Well, it took some time to learn, of course. The new car feels like a little bit different. We had new blocks, which make it like new to learn, to be precise, to know where is every wall. The new physics with the acceleration penalty, trying to learn that you can't clip anymore some parts on some blocks. You cannot risk it as much as before. And of course, ice, that is new for everyone, that we all have to learn. But after some time, it's like everything in Trackmania. After playing for a while ice, it becomes, pretty much on some parts on the maps, when you play Trackmania Grand League maps for the first time and you come up to the ice part, you just completely fail and don't know what to do. But after putting some hours in, it becomes consistent and you know what inputs to do with your gamepad or keyboard.
But is it good for you to come into a league where maybe people don't necessarily expect you to win it? you qualified directly together with Gwen, and everybody speaks about Gwen now as the guy to eventually, can he win it, can he beat Carl Jr.? Do you like to be some sort of underdog that is maybe going in the shadows, and if you qualify, then maybe you are surprised instead of if you don't qualify, then you are a disappointment?
Yeah, it's actually quite a good position for me, because I can just go into the league, like just give it all what you have, and you just see what happens. And if I don't make it into the playoffs, I can just say, well, I was a rookie. You can't expect like a Formula 2 driver to be a world champion in Formula 1 the next year. So I'm just gonna give my best and yes, see what I can do.
Tell us about this new organization that you have joined. It's also the first time they are going to play in Trackmania Grand League. What do we need to know about it for the people that might not be as into BDS as you are, probably at this point at least?
Well, BDS is a Swiss organization. They are playing on different games. They are pretty much shining on Rocket League and Rainbow Six right now. I just followed that they had some pretty sick results. So this kind of put a bit of pressure. You know that some teammates in other games are doing really good, so you kind of want to do really good as well. But I'm not focusing too much on that. And yeah, I just want to make them proud of being in TMGL, show them that they didn't make a mistake to go into Trackmania. And yeah, that's about it.
One of the topics that has been a lot of debate about before the season even started is the implementation of this new playoff system. First time we'll see it in Trackmania Grand League, and first time we basically see it in a competitive format in Trackmania. Can you tell us what is your view on this playoff system, and how will that affect your motivation leading into this season?
Well, it doesn't affect my motivation because I'm gonna be playing on the 6 lappers in the group stage, so I'm giving it everything on this. Then yeah, I was pretty hyped if I would make it into the playoffs to play in cup mode, because it's something that I've been pretty good at, and like finalist mode, I'm pretty much successful at it most of the times. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed to see that they are going to change the format. And then we had that format that came up, and we were not really convinced with that format. So we didn't know if that would work or not. So we tried to basically like ask for something else, but well, it didn't go through. So that I'm not less motivated because of this. I'm still going to try hard as much as possible. And who knows, maybe if I make it into the playoff, that format is actually going to be insanely good for me, or maybe not. But yeah, only the future can tell.
Yeah, have you thought about how this format will eventually suit for you, or is that something you're going to take once the day eventually can come?
Yeah, I'm going to take it when the day comes. But you never know. Like playing these maps on 2 laps is absolutely completely different than 6 laps, because you're just pushing even more for only 2 laps. So I have no idea how that would go. So we'll see.
Tell people if they want to follow you on this Trackmania Grand League, where can they follow you? BDS is a brand new org. Have they announced who's going to cast it? Have they announced where you're going to cast it? And if so, let people know.
So as far as I know, it's going to be casted on the BDS Esport Twitch channel. I already know the caster, but it is not announced yet, so I don't know when it is going to be announced.
Announce it.
So I'm not going to do it now, but it's going to be pretty cool for me, actually, and for BDS as well. Going to have quite a bit of exposure with this. So make sure to follow BDS Esport on Twitch so you can follow my POV for those who are interested. And of course, there is the BDS Esports Twitter and my Twitter, of course.
One question before I eventually let you go. We mentioned this new org. We mentioned BDS. First time in Trackmania Grand League. Then the first time they were going to have a Trackmania player. Have they told you about any specific goals they have for you?
No, actually not. They didn't set me any goal. They are just supporting me as good as they can. So that's already a big plus for me.
And then I'm gonna let you go back to training and eventually see you on Sunday. And hopefully I will see you on a future Trackmania Live. Hopefully it's not gonna be too long, and hopefully you realize that surprise people. I have put a ballsy bet out there. I have said that all 3 Open Grand League players coming in will eventually qualify to the playoffs. So don't let me down, man. I put some balls on the table. So let's see if that's eventually going to work out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best.
Thanks so much for stepping up, Affi, and good luck on Sunday.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me again.
That's it for Affi. Next up should be the vice champion of Trackmania Grand League Winter 2020, that being Scrappy.